shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have given this advice. No, this was unwholesome. This was not too good. Sometimes we give advice all under the guise that, oh, we are playing. Oh, ní èdí àgbọ̀ kẹ̀kẹ́. But people take us serious for the things we tell them and for the pieces of advice we give them. So this year, just in my neighborhood, you know how it is like. There are times that when people are conversing, it's not like you are eavesdropping. You can just not help it. They are that audible, so you can hear them. So I was just in the bathroom taking my shower when I heard an elderly young lady, to be precise. I nearly said woman, but all the same, give and take will be between the age range of 20 to 25. How do you know when you are bathing that the person talking is between the age range of 20 to 25? So because they are all neighborhood folks, you can identify with their voices. They are people you grew up with. So we know them. You don't necessarily have to see them. You know that actually this is Asimesi talking, or this is Opana talking, or this is Wuzi talking. So I was just in the bathroom, heard the voice, and I knew who it was. And this lady between the age of 20 to 25 was giving an advice to a young girl who is in secondary school. Obviously, from the conversation, I sensed that the small girl had issues with boyfriend girlfriend. This boyfriend girlfriend wahala. So it's just like going to an elder sister for an advice on a relationship matter. And the lady gave an advice that struck me. She told the little girl who needed advice desperately that, okay, at this age, I have told you that it is okay to have two or three boyfriends, be studying them. When you get to the point where you want to eventually settle, then you can settle on one. Then I was like, wow. Somebody is listening and is like, oh, are you surprised? This kind of advice is all over the place. To say I was surprised, not fully, but I was angry at the fact that at this point, when a young lady who seemingly is confused comes to you for an advice on a relationship matter, the best advice you could give is that shuffle between boys, get them on your list. When you are ready to settle in the future, then you decide on one. I'm like, great. That is the advice. I am sure this one will sit well with this young lady. Because guess what? One, the person is desperate for answers. Two, the person wants solutions. So any solution at that point is good to go with. The second conversation I had yesterday was I was busily fidgeting with my phone. One of my New Year resolutions is to reduce the number of hours I spend on the screen. Facebooking, WhatsApping, Instagramming. So the idea is simple. I don't fully charge my phone. It's deliberate. It's this is my mechanism for survival this year. So my phone is always at 20%. Somebody says, oh, you kill your battery, oh, Charlie. This is my survival mechanism. So I don't fully charge my phone, 20% to be precise. Then when I fidget small, or battery die, I'm off Facebook, I'm off WhatsApp, I'm off Instagram. Somebody is saying, oh, is this how best you want to solve this problem? Charlie, it is working for me. And for me, I think that's something I want to go with. So after neglecting my phone for some minutes because the battery had died, I went back to check on whether I had some battery to just go on Facebook and see some few stuff. Just when I was fidgeting, there's this man who just passed and said, are you playing games on your phone? I said, no, sir. Then he's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm Facebooking. Then the next thing he said was, hey, and then yo. Phone akeseni in amon. This is to say that, hey, today's ladies, you are on top of your game. I mean, you have all the current versions of phones. And I'm like, okay. Then the next thing he said was that you seem busy. And I said, oh, not really. Just checking one or two things. Guess what? This man wanted a conversation with me. I wasn't. I just was not in the mood. Okay. Then the next thing he said again was that when you are all busy with your phone, you don't seem to be paying attention to what people say. I'm like, oh, sorry, I already told you I was busy. He went on further that there's one thing he also detests in recent times: women choosing telenovelas over all important matters, especially women cooking and shuffling between watching TV and watching telenovelas. Then he said, oh yeah, me hearing now I was broken. This is a sign of an abusive husband. So imagine somebody just tells him that, oh, my wife is in the habit of watching TV and shuffling between cooking, and almost every time the food is spent. This is, forgive my bias, but there is a likelihood that this man will say, oh yeah, Shina Shunu. And I just thought through it. I'm like, this advice will fly with anybody who is in that situation. The third person came to me in the new year and said, Maxine, I am bad with my finances. And I'm like, wrong move. Me, I'm sick as a crime. So I am not a financially disciplined person. I'm not too happy when I say this. And so I say to God that, please give me a husband who is financially disciplined. So that when I am not disciplined, he is disciplined. Hallelujah. Amen. And this guy comes to me and says that, Charlie, do you have any ideas for me how I can be disciplined financially this year? I say, hey, boss, wrong move. Me, dear, this financial matter here. I am the wrong person to be asking for financial matters in this year because you see, and secondly, too, I am not disciplined when it comes to finances. I would rather prefer you talk to somebody who is good with their finances. Guess what? We always have the opportunity to give an advice. People would always fall on us because guess what? There are times that we do not have all the answers we need. We are deficient. We cannot have knowledge on every single matter. There are times that we are thrown between a situation that needs an edge solution, and you are in that phase, and you just need somebody who can say, it's okay, just go ahead. Sometimes it's about academics, sometimes it's finances, sometimes it's on marriage, sometimes it's on family issues. And we have settled on people in the past. For some of us, when it comes to financial matters, maybe you know that friend that you want to consult. Me, if it comes to where can I get this dress from? Oh, I will show you all the boutiques around because I roam. When it comes to, oh, what ideas can I use for my Sunday school children? Correct question. I am more than willing to supply with you with all the needed answers. But you see, in our bid to give advice, we take our position of advisors for granted and we say things, especially in the case where we fail to give godly counsel. This one, we are talking about the sexual advisor. Did you advise somebody in 2020? The person took your advice, hook, line, and sinker. It didn't end the person well, and you knew challenge you caused this. What did you attempt? Did you? Again, oh, we were just joking, but the person took you serious. And you see, when people are desperate, they don't test the answers you give them. At the end of the day, it's what settles the soul. It's what puts them at ease. This morning, 2021, are you searching for new advices? Are there people that you realize that, Akofi Kuti Nambima 2020, and you didn't know the depth of what they gave you till you applied it and you realize that's a wrong move? Why are we always desperate to seek people's advice? One, validation. Na me koye na nye yi a, I should run it by somebody
Mhm.
so that I am not sure. Can we do it like this? And as I said, knowledge is always not in the head of one person. So you might look at this from an angle that by running it with somebody, the person too can give you another perspective that would kind of like give you a balance as to what you're really looking out for. But when somebody runs to you in a bid to get an advice, what kind of advice do you give? Is it godly? Just like somebody in a position I thought will give a young SS girl an advice to stay off boys, read your books, focus on your free education, make good grades, get your tertiary institution. At this point, you are offering an advice of shuffling between multiple partners. My God. And people are like, oh, as for advices, there are plenty people can advise. I can understand. But what do you look out for before you eventually settle on somebody you can say, Charlie, I'm in a fake so how we for do this one? This morning, we are asking the question, it's $1 million question. When people come to you or when you volunteer, sometimes you even volunteer, they don't come. How do you give out advice? My point this morning is simple. Choose who you want to advise you. Based on what? Is it based on what you want to hear or what you don't want to hear? Can we surprise some group of friends this year with the advice we have given them over the period? That we tested those advice and we knew that no, this were ungodly counsel. Can we surprise them with not giving them what they want to hear? Can we turn the table around and go like, forgive me, some years back, if you ask an opinion on this matter, this was going to be my advice to you, but this year, I don't think I did you good with the advice I've been giving you. It's a new era. Can we do something different? I don't know how many people run to you on a daily basis that they will seek your opinion on a matter. They are genuinely in search for answers. Sometimes you do not know how oblivious you are to their situation till they apply your advice. Then you realize that no, you have murdered them. I know people who have just said, oh yeah, Johnny, that sank with a person, and that was the next step to divorce. Somebody just said that, oh, if he decides not to give you money, just steal from him. You will not even see it. It was just like a playful one. By the time you realize the person is applying, just steal from him. I don't know if you regret any advice you have given in the past. Can we do a better job 2021? In as much as you want to volunteer to give an advice, can you come to terms with the fact that people's lives are dependent on what you say? No matter how flimsy it might look. We all do genuinely care for each other. We all are interested in the growth of other people. We all would want to see help a friend or a brother out. But in your bid to help, what kind of advice do you offer? When people are vulnerable and cannot trust their sense of judgment, low self-esteem, into who's correct and incorrect, not too sure whether it will work or it will not work out. Probably you have gone through that road before. They know, this is the best guy to talk to give genuine advice. When you say they're now catching it will not work. You know it. The person is coming to you because The person think, oh, tried and tested. The person has gone through this part before. It's okay. It's just like you want to be rich, and somebody says, go talk to Peny this fight. Don't you think he's the best person to talk to? Because man, this man looks fulfilled, this man is established, this man has money. And then you go and the advice is not what you expect. But you see, because you are desperate to be successful, there is a probability you will go with all the steps you are giving. And that is what happens when we are desperate. We all will be desperate at a point. We will all be in a fix this year. We will all need somebody to say, my brother, it's a step in the right direction. We all will need a mother figure to say, my daughter, it is well with you. Just do A, B, and C. We all will need some fatherly figure to pat us on the shoulder and say, my son, it is the right step. You'll be fine. When people come to you, the question this morning is, how and what do you say to them? We'll be right back. Hello. So we are back this morning. Is the search for an advisor. We have taken things for granted in the past. We want to run all life issues with everyone just because there gets a point where we want answers to situations and we are not all knowledgeable. So you just have to run things by people. But this morning we ask ourselves this question. We have failed ourselves and we have failed people who run to us desperately for answers. We have taken their situations for granted. Somebody comes to you and say, I have a problem with alcohol. Or inside the young kakra, and it might sound a big joke, like, oh, this, I mean, this is one thing we say, lady alcohol. But the person in that state needs an answer, and it's not what you are giving. Can we do this thing? If somebody comes to you and they present their problem, and you know that the presentation of problem demands an advice, and you don't have answers, can you keep quiet? Can you just say, Master, as for this one, I don't think I have the right answers now. Can you give me time? Can I talk to somebody else? Can I refer you to someone else to talk to? As I said from the onset, we might all not have solutions to every problem. Just when we think we have the strength in one field, we might be deficient in the other. And that's how come we need people who have such expertise to talk to us. Can we not just lie any advice around, all in a bid to say we are joking? There are people who lack confidence. There are people who are struggling. There are people who just sit on the back bench and perceive that things are going well for other people and they are not going well for us. So they will come to you for advice. Can we do better with our advice this year? Can we do a better job? And we know there are people who cannot just run anything by anybody. Don't you know people like that? Once their mind is made up, they are not asking for opinion from anybody.
Yeah, yeah. I know some people like
Yeah,
that.
they will just go with their instinct.
Everything for them, once they say it is right and it's final.
It's right and it's final. People have taken a trust position, they know it all. They cannot run anything by you.
Mhm.
I hit, I hit, I miss, I miss. And that's how they go. You count your losses and you count your wins. And sometimes we are also lazy because there are times we want to share the responsibility of our actions. So everything you they are asking for advice. The minutest thing, if there's a word like that, you want to ask somebody for advice. There are times your instinct is right. There's something you have to go with. But just for the sake of validation, what if I get it wrong? What if it doesn't turn out well? What if it doesn't work? What if the repercussion is something I cannot carry all by myself? Can we also trust our guts 2021? Sometimes your own instinct is your advice. Don't do this. Do this. There are times you get an instinct that tells you that speak to this person. And on some matters, like don't speak to this person. And that's it. I don't know how well you have trusted your instinct in 2020. 2021, can you be in tune with your guts? And for us Christians, there is no other better person to say, my boss, the Holy Spirit, Charlie, I want to do this. So will it work? Can I go ahead? And you get the signal. So the Holy Spirit is that one that confirms that sin and says, shoot or shoot not. So if you want to shoot and get it right, if you want to shoot and not miss, hit the right spot, can you be more than closer and tighter with your Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit, the friend, the counselor, the one who gives the best advice. Somebody, so we are talking physical matters, you have gone to REM. Let's talk REM small. Because see, it's the REM that will manifest in the physical, right? And so it will channel into what we do with all the set of advice we get. We seek advice from people we admire. Oh, I like this man. I like the way he carries himself. Sometimes you even see couple at church. You're like, no, these are the kind of people I want to be with. I want to be like. And they are giving you advice that is contrary to what they are doing in the house. Because all you see is the glam. All you see is the perfect couple who are living the correct married life. And people give you advice is not what they even live with. Oh, haven't you heard people who say, me, I don't do this. Hey, me, me, no. How, hey, you did this? No way. But later on in life, you realize that, kai, wrong move. And so even the people that looks ideal as your advices sometimes do have question marks. Just that we don't see that part. This is not to say that just like an island, you'll be in a secluded place, running your own business, not minding the consequences. Mind the consequences of your advice. Whether it was a casual advice, a serious one. Sometimes you want to sit over tables with a serious environment that we know that we are giving good advice. But you see, once the person says, what do you think? Or the person said, I am doing this, I'm not sure. Know that it is time for you to speak a word that will go a long way to make the person's life better. We have all given bad advices in the past. Advices that do not reflect the fact that we are children of God. We look back and we say, oh, we're playing. We could have done some before. But we realize that at the end thereof, it didn't go well with the people. We have also given advice, hoping that we did the right thing. It backfires and the people say, and you are like, I thought I was helping. I thought I was just being a brother. That's how people have stopped giving advice. Because if it doesn't go well, they come for your neck. I know children who are still disgruntled with their parents. So much bitterness. My father says I should do science. My father was the one who says I should go to poly. My father, I wanted to do this. And up till now, the bitterness still exists. And at that point, they still cannot forgive their parents. I know people who are still angry that I brought a husband to be, and my mother said, wrong advice. He's from this
ethnic group and they are still single now and they are blaming their parents for that advice, your advice will cause somebody's destiny. No matter how simple you think the question is, please know what you say to people. Discern through what you say. Now we are in the habit of giving unsolicited advice, opinions, and suggestions that do not matter. Oh, because in this part of our world, obiasem, you obiasem. Hey, really? And instinctively, we all do it. Hey, your hair is grown. Don't you want to go to the barber shop? Oh, I have a barber who can do a good job for you. Unsolicited. You are in Netroski. Somebody is speaking over phone. And you just, they are not audible. The person says, na kaneshi can menya from nowhere. No, oh, kaneshi the station wa hey yao. And we have given unsolicited advice. Sometimes it helps the people. But in 2021, please let people ask of your opinion on the matters before you give. Because sometimes we think we have all the suggestions, we have all the answers, and the people do not appreciate it. Can we please be circumspect? When they are asking you the thing that you have been asked, they have not asked you, you keep quiet. But it's one difficult thing. We jump into conversations that do not concern us. We say things, sometimes we are virtually running people's life for them. Happy New Year, oh! I feel say, then people are saying things for you. And in my head, I'm thinking, have I asked your opinion on this matter? I feel say, now I worry. Did I say I want to marry? I feel say now maybe you have decided, you and madam have decided to put brakes on children. I feel say no when you're boy. Meanwhile, you're okay with the girls you have. Please, we have said things out of the ordinary because we are saying things. I feel say no one go hona be maybe our. And we say things all in the bid. Sometimes we think we are creating humor. But sometimes you see, it is not out of malice. There are people who wish us well. Please don't get it twisted. So in the bid to give advice, it might look unsolicited. Will be afraid. But they mean well. Maybe you have been struggling to get a job. And the person just, now how is it going with your job search? Maybe that day you are not in the mood to talk job search matter. But the person out of genuine concern would ask. So can we just do this? Know who you want to seek advice from. Look at the list of people who you have been calling advisors and see, are they worth maintaining? What do you personally look out for before you say, this guy is my advisor? Are there key things that you would want to look out for? Just like you are looking for a wife, you know your specs. What are the specs for your advisor? The search is on. It's just 11 days into the year. Maybe some of you have already given advices that are cool. Some of you have matters on your table that you have to give advice to on. If you have the time, just think through it and do a good job. For those of us who still have struggles with giving unsolicited advice, can we put a brace on our opinions and suggestions on matters? Sometimes we might want to give advice because we care and we have genuine concerns. But do the people appreciate it? If they don't, can we ask for your opinion before you speak on a matter? Please, in all things, let godly counsel prevail. Anything ungodly must not be associated with you. Test what you tell people because in their desperation, they will go with whatever you tell them. And once the result thereof is not too good, you pay the price somehow. Be careful what advice you give. Reshuffle your advisors list. Know what you want to go with in 2021. Set out to give godly counsel. When people come to you for advice, make sure that the word of God is the standard. Don't ask me that to drink in the Bible, is it there? But you know that you have a way of saying something to that person that would help them become a better versions of themselves. We'll be right back.
You live on Penny Radio, your number one online Christian radio station. Penny Radio, hope for the hopeless.
All right, so it's Monday. It's the very first episode of Random Thoughts with Maxine. This morning, we just set the ball rolling on a New Year's Day, and we are saying that God forgive us for the many times we have given advice that we know that Charlie, we murdered the situation. And this year, as part of our resolutions, we want to search for new set of people who breathe fresh advice into our system. There are friends we are avoiding. I am not asking you what your New Year's resolution entails. No, I know we have all made tall lists, and me have not made one. It's in my head. I know when to apply them. But you see, it's good we write them down. So I've written some down. And it's top notch for me to know that when people come to you for advice, it's because they've seen something in you. They know there's something you can offer. And you stand in a position of privilege, so to speak. Because you see, it's not everybody who come to you and say, Brother Charlie, I want to run this by you. So when people come to you, it means that they just didn't stand out of the blue and say, can I talk to Dominic? Can I talk to Maxine? Can I talk to Salom? It is because they saw something. And most often than not, we have disappointed people. They don't know we have disappointed them. But we know that we didn't do a good job. So we are saying this year that the old is gone, the new has come. We want to search for new crop of people who will be top notch with their advice. We want to be known for giving the best of advice. Advice that is interlaced with wisdom. You know, ukasa nipa ne hu say, Charlie. It's not like reading books and coming to chew and pour. The person knows that this guy is on point, not for your glory, but for the glory of God. Because you see, whatever we need to survive has been given to us. Human resource, correct. And in the human resource, in as much as we have a pool of human resource, in the advice, we have advices. And so Dominic will know who he wants to tend to when you have marital issues. And it's not because you stood up one day and said, this man and the wife, they look good on the outside. Can we test the people that we claim are advisors? Because people are given all sorts of advice. Playfully, jokingly, seriously, interestingly, disgracefully, all the least. But at the end of the day, we know that we give advice and we regret. You are listening right now. What kind of advice have you ever given and you regret up till date? Are there some advice you gave or you took from somebody? Sometimes we are the victims. Sometimes too, we are the people we are the offenders, because people come to us with all sorts of advice, knowing with all sorts of problems, knowing that we can advise. When you come and you tell me that you have a problem with alcoholism, I don't drink. So obviously I should be giving you advice from my angle. But if I am not drinking and I tell you that, oh, continue drinking, and why would somebody come to you when they know you don't drink? Because there's something they want to hear from you. Please, we have settled for less. We have asked unnecessary questions. We did not even ask the questions. We have given advice because that is what people want to hear. This year is not about what you want to hear. Can we just break that cycle of, oh, me dem ba? Can we start disappointing people? Can we start disappointing people? When the person comes to you and is talking, I'm cash strapped, I spent my money on booze and all that, tell the person you are not serious. Don't tell the person that, oh, no, no. Because you see, sometimes the advice must hit you, it must turn you around. It must not, you know, when the person keeps coming for the same advice, then it means you are not doing a good job. It means there's something you are not saying. Probably you are not blunt enough. Probably you are not being honest enough. Probably you are just massaging the truth in a way that will not hurt their feelings and all that. Know when to apply what. Be a good advisor this year and do a good job at that. Is Random Thought with Maxine comments? I'm back. Where are all my where are my listeners? Please, I miss you. Mafimo, you're not saying anything to please say something to
God.
me, eh? Like I miss you, Papa. Eh?
All right, so I think earlier on, there was an issue with the sound, and Mina said you people seem too far from the mic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was rectified.
Okay, thanks, Mina.
So we have Bote Anita and US Bill watching. Akudolu Neka. I think this name should be a Nigerian name.
Okay.
Yes. Watching Lydia Osa watching. And let me check from YouTube. And
Okay,
see.
so do YouTube, and it's always a pleasure connecting with you. And this morning,
Alright.
you know how we do it. Okay, you're on YouTube now.
Yes, there are some people there, but they are not talking. So
Okay,
I don't know.
so all our silence
Maybe-
listeners, we
And
know you're
obviously,
li-
yeah, listen
yeah.
via radio. I think Maxine. I said why am I mentioning Maxine?
Maxima.
Mina was on radio. So
Okay, Mina was on radio.
yeah,
Okay.
so she wouldn't. So yeah. So
Okay. So this morning, this is what we are talking about. Please be in a better position. Okay. Do a good job this year. Okay. At the end of the day, when you do a soul search of your conscience, know that you hit it right. This time is either you hit or you miss with your advice. Hit the targeted spot. Please, sometimes it's intimidating. The people who come to you for advice are people that sometimes you think, oh, they should be in a better position to know too well that Charlie, we are omuye and koye. But guess what? They have come to you because there's something that they see, there's something that you have. And you have that keys to unraveling all the mysteries that surrounds their life. Do a better job. Forgive all those who gave you bad advice. You nah. But you know how it is like. You know those times, Sunday school days, they'll present the devil in a way that looks scary because they wanted us to have a fair idea of what it means for him to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But now the way the advice come, it is nice packaging.
Yeah.
You don't even know it's ungodly. You know. When Bible says do not sit in the counsel of the ungodly, we sit with the ungodly and we give counsel. But sometimes we are giving the counsel and that some chapter, it doesn't make sense to us. Sometimes you are the only one who must give that advice for all the rest in the group to be steady. But you not to, you have kept quiet.
Yeah.
And so the advice sometimes is not one-on-one. No. It's not, please, can I talk to you on a matter? It's even in a group. There's an issue on board. And everybody is talking some way. And you know that you alone, you have to talk differently.
Yeah.
But Charlie, boys are talking some way, so you have to go with the flow.
Yeah.
How dare you be different? How dare you say something that does not match what they are saying? How dare you? They will see you some way. And that is where the challenge comes. Even we can't stop people in a group with our advice. Sometimes you know someone is fooling that must be called to order just with a single word, but it won't come. So even in our dealings in a group, friends, when we meet, that is where we give rise to topics. And that is where we also have the ability to give advice and counsel that's godly. Can we do even a better job on our group platforms? Can we do a better job when we meet as girls? Can we do a better job when we meet as office colleagues? Can we do a better job when we meet outside the church? Can we do a better job? Somebody came to church yesterday with earrings in their ear. And to be very honest, I know him. He looked cool. And I was just talking to him and he's giving me reasons why he's wearing earrings. I said, cool. You know how there is a tag that, oh, we Christians, of late, I've repented from that thing. If you like, gradually you grow out of it.
Yeah.
So we're just having a chat like that. And my little sister was like, Charlie, besides bringing this to church, but if you know, she just said it like that. Yeah. And there was this lady by her side that said, Debbie, you know, because you see, in as much as he thinks he's just being himself, there's a part of him that wants to explore.
Sure.
So the least thing that comes to his mind, he's going to work with it. Yeah. Exactly. And so that is what happens sometimes when we find ourselves in a space. There are things that people have started. It's a trigger. The least thing you say, it would embolden them. And they will go ahead, all out. But before that, my sister didn't know I was speaking his thought on why he had pierced and all that. Then all he said was that, oh, even with time, he wants to do his eyebrow and his mouth and I say, Master, relax. So imagine my sister was privy to that information, would have said, okay, it's not too good to fly that comment that it looks good on him. Yeah. So see, people's ears are open. Sometimes they won't come to you and ask why they should pierce. So it's just a comment. And then it will set them haywire. Please be mindful of the things you say around. Be mindful of the things you say around. No matter how free you want to feel, because just like seeds, it will grow up and germinate into something that eventually cannot be cut down. It's Random Thought with Maxine. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an awesome. How many minutes have we done?
We've done 46.
Okay, so 46 minutes. And we'll be back, God willing, on Wednesday. Thank you so much for your company. And this year promises to be exciting. Please keep your fingers crossed. There's a lot happening this year. Peny Radio, we are on fire. And please join the family. So for all those who are asking, when are you coming on? When I am on, no, I am on, I have come. And so please, let's extend this family, okay? It's a close-knitted one. Charlie, we have enjoyed all the goodies last year. Can we just expand it? Sure. And so please, we'll be making a lot of noise. Just tune in. And I am sure you'll be more than blessed. I'm out of here. And it's a bye. See you, God willing, on Wednesday. Bye.
All right, so it has been Random Thought with Maxine, the first ever in the year 2021. So catch us live on Wednesday at exactly 10:30 a.m. We'll be live on Facebook and on YouTube, PenyGh. You can as well catch us on our website, PenyGh.com or radio.PenyGh.com. You can also download the Peny Radio mobile app from the Play Store or the App Store. Have a wonderful moment. We out of here. Bye.
How are you? You came to the studio.